Hi everybody, Toby here with Diabetes Every Day with a very timely topic today about emergency planning. So there are hurricanes in the system right now, so I thought it was a perfect time to give you this information. I always talk about planning, super important with diabetes management, but there's another level of planning when we're talking about weather disasters. So we're going to cover that topic today. Remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you'll be notified of all my new videos. A lot of the information that's coming to you today is from two places. One, the American College of Endocrinology has put together a checklist for mydiabetiesemergencyplan.com is where you can find it, and that's where some of this information is coming from, but I'm also going to bring you information from personal experience. Fortunately and unfortunately, I've lived through a couple hurricanes, and so I have some interesting little added tips to give you in addition to this emergency plan that we're going to talk about. So first, you want to take a waterproof bin and put all of your diabetes supplies. I'm going to start with diabetes supplies. Just as a reminder, your medications that you take every day, that's a given. You're always carrying that with you anyways. But also some backup. When we were evacuated for Hurricane Matthew, it turns out we were gone 5 days, and when we came back, this is a note for you all, is that we still needed our emergency supplies. So if you evacuate, when you come back, you have to think of that scenario as well. So there's really 3 scenarios that we're thinking about: evacuation, staying, and evacuating and then coming back. So for all those 3 scenarios, there could be power outages or water, not safe water to drink. So these are things to keep in mind. So let's go back to the supplies. You want to have at least 2 weeks to a month's worth of supplies with you, to take with you, or available in a secure place. So that's what I have here, whether it's insulin pods or all your testing strips, the lancets and the lancing devices, storage for your needles if you're using injectables. If you are using injectables, whether it's insulin or some of the other injectables that people with type 2 diabetes use, make sure that you have something that you can keep those items cold in case that there is no power. Also important is to carry a letter with your prescriptions from your doctor so that you have that handy. It's really nice that a lot of us have those mail order systems so that all of our prescriptions are documented in our in those systems. So that's really helpful. So backup on insulin and needles and swabs or wipes. Also suggest to have 2 meters. So your meter that you use, but also a backup meter just in case. The other thing to prepare for is to bring extra batteries if your meter is using batteries, or extra cords if you need to recharge your battery through the electrical outlet. Also, moving into, before we talk about food, this is something that came in very handy, is the hand sanitizer. So when we came back from our evacuation, there was not safe water, so I was very thankful that I had the hand sanitizer. Just a note to think about. As far as the food, you may not have electricity, so you may not have access to your microwave or your refrigerator. So to think about non-perishable foods, and I'm always thinking sources of carb and sources of protein. Those are the 2 main categories that I'm thinking about. So what I have here are both carbs and protein. So I have nuts to provide good protein, nuts and seeds, and I have some of the bars. These are all non-perishable items so that they can be easily stored and eaten without needing any electricity, basically. I have some tuna in the packs, so I don't need a can opener, so I don't need electricity. I have peanut butter or any of the nut butters. There's almond butter and so forth. Those are great sources of protein. I also put together some dehydrated cheese, so that I know that I have protein. This pack goes with me whether I evacuate or I stay, because then I know that I'm assured that I have food accessible to me. One other note is about treating lows, and so to make sure that you have that available too. You could bring sugar packets if you want, or honey, or hard candies, or dried fruit, or even the regular sodas. You wouldn't use this whole serving, just a note. You only need about 4 ounces of a regular Coke to treat a blood sugar that's 70 or below. So make sure that you have that, because you could be using more energy by exercise if you're evacuating or coming back and cleaning out. Other thing is water. So make sure to have plenty of water, either way, if you evacuate or you stay. So I want you to think about prepping and planning. It's so important, and all of this information is good whether it's a disaster of hurricanes or snowstorms or power outages. This is something that you should have in place all the time. Take care, and here's to your health.